hail the Clicks crew. Alright guys, today we have some Heroclix news, so I hope this video finds you guys well during this the coof times. But anyway, we have some news from Wizkids about what's going on with distribution and things like that. For those of you that don't know, they've been under a rock. Diamond Distributing and therefore Alliance, who currently have basically an acknowledged monopoly, but nobody does anything about it because of how it came around. Decided that they had to shut down because of what was going on, which is fine, but because of that, nothing could ship out or get to anything. So things like the Cosmic Clash starter set that I unboxed and reviewed for you guys on this channel. Again, thank you to Wizkids for allowing me to do that. Got delayed. The Justice League Unlimited starter set got delayed. The Justice League Unlimited set got delayed. It's just a lot of things going on, and basically every game, comics, stuff like that, it's had a far-reaching effect. We've been shut down for a while now, and a lot of local game stores are having some trouble, and so are some of the companies. But there was an announcement made by Wizkids about something that they're going to start doing during these times, so we're going to go ahead and talk about it. But before we do, I want to take the time to let you know that Mr. Flicks is sponsored by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama, home of the ROC. No matter if you're in the United States or around the world, Lucky Dice Cafe has a winning role for our gaming needs. You can visit them at luckydicecafé.com or on their Facebook page using the link found in the description of this video. Mr. Flicks is also sponsored by trollandtoad.com, one of the largest online gaming retailers. Visit trollandtoad.com and use the promo code MrClicksFlix for 5% off your HeroClix order today. So it's important to note that I do have sponsors that do sell HeroClix, amongst other things. So when I read this for you, hopefully that's not going to taint how I present this to you. And the thing is that I think everybody's trying their best with what's going on to do right by the customers and by each other and things like that. So I think this is all going to work out and it's going to be okay. And like I said, Wizkids sent me some HeroClix to unbox. I'm, I guess, soft sponsored by them. So I'm going to try to walk the line and present everybody's everything as equally as I can. So let's go ahead and we're just going to see what Wizkids said, and then I'm going to talk about its impact on what's going on. So here we are. We're at the Wizkids webpage, wizkids.com, and they have press room and stuff like that where you can click on it and you'll find this real quick. But it's Wizkids expands e-commerce offerings. Dear Wizkids retailers, in these extraordinary times, we at Wizkids have been doing our best to continue to bring the joy of tabletop gaming and hobby painting to the masses. Today's conditions have forced all of us to quickly adapt to not only a new day-to-day life, but the way we think about our collective futures. As we all continue to adjust and adapt our new, hopefully temporary normal, we want to share with you a new initiative that we hope to implement in the coming weeks. With distributors and retailers being forced to close due to the government restrictions and/or forces outside their control, getting product into the hands of our players has become more challenging than ever. While we have always supported our retailers with innovative programs such as pre-release events, Storyline OP, and in-store paint and take, and now take and paint, we understand that these options may not be accessible to everyone as we continue to practice social distancing and isolation. Alright, so there we go. You guys can see the full letter now. With all this in mind, in order to find ways to continue to deliver great games to our players, we've decided to expand the Wizkids online store. This has been a very difficult decision for us, but one we know we must take in order to adapt to the ever-changing landscape. It is our hope that by selling product directly to the customer, we can bring the joy of gaming to a greater number of households during these unprecedented situations, while continuing to ensure our businesses stay strong and will be able to continue to make the great products that we have all come to know and love. We'll continue to remind our players that even though we are choosing to sell products direct, always support your friendly local game stores. You all are the backbone of the industry, and without you, many of our products would not be able to get to their tabletops. Please reach out. Our team is continuing to work closely with retailers to devise and adopt new programs to provide ongoing support. We hope everyone stays safe and looking forward to the future. Thank you, the Wizkids team. So that is at, you can find that at wizkids.com. Click around the press room and you'll be able to find it there. So some interesting things about that. So WizKids is now going to have an online store. They've always had some things you could buy, but they're going to have an online store now where you're going to be able to buy their games. So we're concentrating on heroclix, obviously. So what does this mean for heroclix? Now, some places, it's my understanding that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast have like a sort of a direct thing that you can do with Magic the Gathering. I'd assume since they also do Pokemon, probably Pokemon too. So this isn't totally out of the normal for gaming in general, but it is out of the normal for WizKids. So my gut reaction is that reading this, WizKids and probably by extension N.E.C.A. is in a little bit of monetary trouble. So they're trying to come up with ways to capitalize on things they have, because right now, based on when everything happened and everything got locked down and the distributors closed, is pretty much all the sets and starter sets that I talked about, the Cosmic Clash, the Justice League Unlimited starter set, the Justice League set, even the Black Widow stuff, which you can apparently find at Target right now, is like they're here. It's just there's no way to get rid of them. So this is them trying to come up with a way to do that, and I don't disagree with that, because ultimately, if they die, the game goes away. So I'm looking at it from that heroclix trying to preserve heroclix way of looking at it. Now, the back end of that is if they start selling things like this and it really takes off, and they just, it ends up being super popular, or they undercut MSRP or something like that, and people quit going to their local gaming stores, that could create a real problem, because then stores either won't carry it, or you just won't be able to find it, or it'll be, people will be like, well, if I can buy it directly from WizKids, why am I buying it from you? So it's going to be a difficult thing, indeed. Now, I do like that they had in there about minding your local gaming stores, your friendly brick and mortar stores, which I agree with 100%. I've felt so bad for the channel sponsors. They seem to be doing okay, but things could always be better. My local shop, Heroes Inc., my home away from home, Four Horsemen. So I've been thinking about those guys a lot. So hopefully when things clear up and they're allowed to open, I'm going to go there and do my best to patronage whatever I can, along with channel sponsors and stuff like that, because this has been a rough time for them, shut down with no income. Not to get too much into the weeds, but those small business loans and stuff like that, a lot of people just didn't get them, and they're taking forever and stuff like that. So don't count on that type of thing saving your local business. If you want your comic book store to be open, it's basically on you, or your gaming store. It's going to be on you. Don't think that type of thing is going to save them. But overall, I think that if done right, and I'll explain what if done right means to me personally, that this could be overall a good thing. I think it's a smart idea. I've often wondered why they didn't have something like this before, and I think they're doing it now because you're seeing a lot of people talking about, the coof now. The curve's kind of flattened, and various, depending on who you talk to, there's various reasons for that. That doesn't matter. But the curve flattened. If we open back up, there's either going to be possibly a second wave, or it'll be like the seasonal flu, where once it gets cold again, it'll come back and they might have to shut things down again. So I think it's smart to have a plan like this in place so that they don't get caught like this again. So this is smart. And there's some products that I think they could offer through here that would be cool. And we'll get into that. But the first thing they need to do when they do this is Hopefully make sure that they're not selling things below MSRP, which you're probably getting them for at your store if you just walk into a new store and you don't know somebody. If they undercut it and make it so that a regular business can't compete, just to kind of like fire sale their product because they need capital that bad, I think that's going to be that will be short-term gain for long-term pain. That's going to really hurt the game. It's going to hurt the small comic book shops. I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time keeping up with that. I saw a suggestion online, and I don't want to mention the person's name just because I didn't ask them if I could mention this, but where they suggested that maybe a portion of proceeds, you can like type in what store you'd want the proceeds to go to, and they'll send a portion of that sale to them to kind of help them stay open, since they won't have the middleman cost in there. That's kind of a smart idea. I like that. Now, Wizkids isn't obligated to do that at all, and I'm not going to necessarily beat them up if they don't do it, but it would be cool that if you're selling them for the $12.99 MSRP. I know that wholesale price is right around $70 for a brick, so $7 for a pack. They're making a nice hefty chunk of change because they're hopefully getting them for even cheaper than that, because there's not the middleman of Diamond or Alliance in there. So hopefully it's probably half that, if I had to guess. So if they took $1 or $2 off the top, you could type in, send it to mom and pop comic shop, and they'd send them $1 or $2 from each sale. I think that would be cool, and that'd go a long way to help people. And then I think if they offered sort of, to steal a Magic the Gathering term, kind of like boutique items, items that were either A, really expensive, or B, I think that would be a good place for con exclusives, where you sell the con exclusives, you have your extra con exclusives that maybe you sell online 6 months later. I think that would be an extremely good idea. As far as selling just the blanket, selling regular heroclix online, I think it's okay for right now. I think everybody's kind of giving everybody a free pass on doing what you got to do to keep the doors open. I know I am. But I think in the future, unless it's like a specialty boutique kind of item, I think that should probably just go to the stores. And Wizkids shouldn't really be selling it, unless it's, like I said, a boutique item or some kind of specialty thing, selling con exclusives after they've been out for so long. The purchasable ones. I'm not talking about the winnable ones. That's a different idea for another video. And even at that point with that idea, I think they should be sold in the stores. But I feel for the stores with this, because this is kind of scary. You have right now the company that makes the game saying, hey, you can't get it here, so buy it here. A lot of these things, once you buy it once, like a board game or something like that, they don't always have add-ons and things like that. So once you buy it there, you don't have to go to your regular shop unless you have a play group that you play with at the shop. Now, heroclix are in a nice spot because, you almost know, it's like a potato chip. You never just have one booster of something. You buy a couple boosters. So you're always going to have a reason to, let's say you buy, hypothetically, nobody's told me anything. So hypothetically, Wizkids sells you an entire brick of Justice League Unlimited. You still have a reason when everything opens up to go to your local comic book shop, pick up either a brick or at least a few boosters of that set. So I don't think it's going to be where if Wizkids sells it, nobody else has a reason to go buy it at their local shop. I think that's a good idea. Now, something to note is I did look at the web store, and this is what it showed. It said coming soon, and then you can enter an email address. Now, I did enter an email address for myself, so hopefully when that comes live, I'll talk to you guys about it. We'll kind of revisit this story and talk about what's going on with it, whether or not it's good or bad for the game. But like I said, I think overall it's just Wizkids, you always try to serve the customer first. Right now, your customer doesn't have your product. So in order to serve your customer, Now, it could be argued that the stores are their customer also, but if we're not able to buy the stuff, it's going to be bad for them. They have a certain amount of money tied up into them. They probably need some of that back. So hopefully what we're going to see is that they have a limited quantity of something that they're going to sell, and then they're not going to really do this again. And then, like I said, just kind of like a boutique item. And it would be really nice if we could see some portion of the proceeds. I don't exactly know what the amount is because I'm not privy to that information, but a portion of the proceeds could go to a local shop or something like that. Even if they just put it all in a pot and evenly distribute it, that's fine too, I guess, rather than the popularity contest thing that I mentioned. But I think it'd be really helpful, and it'd really go a long way. I think this is a cool idea. I think other games do it. Other companies do it, so it's not the worst idea ever. Like I said, though, it needs to stay at MSRP. They cannot undercut it. It would be catastrophic if they undercut MSRP on their own product. Even though we know they can, and we know that they're going to be making more money than normal with it, if they undercut it even a nickel, it's going to be bad for your brick and mortar stores, because it's going to be like, why do I even go here? So this is going to be a hot button topic, I anticipate. So you guys in the comments below, give me your feelings about this, your opinions on it. When the store does update, or we have more information about this story, I will do another video about it, because I think it's interesting. I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of strong opinions about it, so we want to go ahead and talk about that stuff in the comments below. Like I said, I can see both sides of it. I totally understand why retailers are upset about it, and if I owned a shop, I would be very fearful, because this would easily get out of hand. But I also see Wizkids side of it, where like they have the product, they want to make sure people can get it. They, as a company, also have a fiduciary responsibility to maintain a certain amount of profitability and stuff like that. So, otherwise people get fired, lose their jobs, the game collapses. So I get it. I see where both of these are. I tried to let everybody know any conflicts of interest I had. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I always enjoy reading that about that stuff. Please, like I said, I know this is an inflammatory topic. Please try to keep it civil. And that's all I have for you guys today. As always, please remember the zone critical miss if you don't have probability control.